Good morning. How's everyone doing? Good. Welcome to our first day at TestPro. Welcome to the first day of the rest of your life. All righty. Quick note before we get started. If you can make sure in the chat that you guys have it the two part of your message set to host. I'm sorry, to everyone. That way, everybody in the class can see what you're asking or what I'm responding to. Let me see here. Looks like pretty much we have everybody that needs to be in here is in here. I'm just gonna give everybody another 30 seconds or so. Make sure you got your stuff ready to go. All right, let me see here. All right, cool. Looks like everybody's here, ready to go. Mics are muted. Yes, mics will be muted. You will not be communicating. You will not be doing any talking unless I ask for volunteers and stuff like that. All right, so otherwise it'll just be a madhouse. So you as participants, your videos and mics are muted until I unmute you. So basically, I'm the one with all the power. All right. So be nice to me and I'll mute your mic. On that note, let's get started. Once again, welcome to the first day the first session of this class, this cohort, P29. My name is Nadir. I am going to be your instructor for the next few weeks. And today we're going to be talking about becoming a QA engineer and what it takes. Before we get started, I just want to know how many of you have not been part of the webinar before? If you were part of my webinars, probably on like last Thursday or the Thursday before, anything like that, please let me know. And if you haven't been part of any of the webinars, let me know as well, because I want to do. Okay, cool. All right, awesome. Also, before I continue, if I'm talking too quickly, if you can't hear me clearly, the video breaks out, the audio cuts off, please let me know. I will try to make sure I repeat myself. Also, I tend to talk very quickly, so please feel free to let me know to slow down. That way I can make sure that you understand what's going on. All right, cool. So for those of you that have been part of the webinars before, just to let you know, a few of the slides in the beginning are going to be the exact same ones you saw a couple of days ago. And also some of the slides in the actual presentation are going to be similar, but majority of this information is going to be more detailed and it's going to be more in depth on what we spoke about already. Okay. And for those of you who haven't gotten into the course, this is just one of the first of the 3 free sessions you're attending. This is going to be kind of your introduction to who we are and what we are. All right. So am I freezing or am I glitching for everyone, or is it just one of you that's having the issues? So you can hear me clearly, see me clearly. All this money I'm paying for expensive internet is working out. All righty. It looks like I just got turned on to live. Again, I apologize for the delay. Don't know what it was. I've been on for about 5 minutes now, but there might have been some issues in the background. Awesome. So again, as I was saying, in case you missed it, if you've been part of these webinars or part of my webinars before, some of this first, 5 or 10 of these slides are going to look exactly like they were before. So don't get concerned. It's not, the whole presentation is not the same. And secondly, for those of you that are new, it's kind of your introduction to me and to TestPro, and kind of get your feet wet before we really get started. Also, if any of you have any questions, right? This is my favorite part of the class. Type it up in there. Ask the question. I literally go off on a tangent and answer your questions. That's really my favorite part of the class is answering people's questions. All right. Once again, like I said, apologies for the delay. It was not on our side. It was the our tool that we use that messed it up. I would prefer you to send me messages straight here in the chat. If you want to send me something directly, please feel free to send it on just on the two portions. Select my name, host and panelists, and just send it to me, and I'll be the only one. I'll be the only one that is whatchamacallit, having an issue, or I'll be the only one that sees what you're saying. All right. Let me see. All right. So yeah, we are streaming on 2 different platforms. There was an issue on one of the platforms, just FYI. All righty. On that note, let's get into this. Again, what's on our agenda? It's going to be a quick intro. Again, like I mentioned, they're going to do a few of the repetitive. So we're going to do a repeat, a few of the whatchamacallit, of the slides that you guys saw the other day. Give the new people an introduction to me. And it's like, who's this strange guy on my screen? Well, I'll tell you who I am. And also, what am I doing here? Well, I'll tell you what you're doing here. What the heck is Test Pro? I'll tell you what we are. Okay. That's kind of the whole reasoning behind the repetitive stuff. Obviously, then we're going to go into a little bit more detail about the issues that we discussed, like bugs and things of that nature, and all that good stuff. All right. The bugs that we spoke about in the other webinars, we're just going to expand on them, give you more detail, and I'll kind of show you and explain to you what exactly it is that we're looking for and what we're doing. All righty. All right. This is the first lesson of the bootcamp. That is correct. If anybody is confused about that, let me kind of walk into this. What is this? Who we are? We are Test Pro. Once again, my name is Nadir. I'm one of the instructors. I'm going to be the instructor here for the next few weeks that you'll be seeing for the majority of the time. Like I've previously mentioned, and I will kind of repeating myself a little bit here. We are Test Pro. We were started in 2018. We have been wildly successful in doing what we do, which is to teach you how to become a QA engineer. All right. Our job is to prepare you with the technical knowledge and the actual, the theory and the technical and the practical knowledge to be able to learn how to become a QA engineer, apply to become a QA engineer, and then actually become a QA engineer. And then when you get hired, to be able to do the job and do the function of a QA engineer as best and as perfectly as you possibly can. We've had over 300 students that have, that we've gotten into brand new careers. That number has gotten exponentially higher recently. Excuse me, I'm sure that's probably close to 350, 400 now. All the class sessions are like we're doing today. They're all virtual classes led, teacher-led training. So I'm the one that's leading you. You're going to be the one following. Come on, let's go. I'm just kidding. Obviously, all the sessions are live, but as soon as we're going to be done, you will get an email within a few minutes on the recording for today as well. So let's say you're late, something messes up, you can't see something, you had to take your dog to the vet, or your doggy had a date or something like that. You're going to be late, or you're not going to be able to make it. We'll send you the recording right afterwards, within minutes of the class session being done. Again, we're legit. This is a real enterprise. This is not something that's going to be, that requires any kind of for you to have any kind of reticence or be concerned about who you're dealing with. You can Google us, check us out at bppa.ca.gov. Again, we are certified with the state of California, and this is just to show you that, again, if you need to get this information, if you're concerned, have any concerns or worries, you can definitely check us out. All right, let's see. I have a question. I'll get to your question in just a minute, Anna. Just kind of let me walk through this real quick. We are a partner with the ISTQB program, which is the International Testing Board. Basically, they're like the United Nations of QA testing. The whole world has different recognitions of the ISTQB board, everybody kind of regards them as one of the main authorities when it comes to QA. Just so we're clear and that is no confusion, this whole course, this boot camp, is not to prepare you for the ISTQB exam, board exam. All right, that's a whole separate entity altogether. We're just a program with them that is that's part of the partner program, and also we're recognized by them as one of the more preferred options for boot camps in our space. Okay, so just be aware of that those are two completely different, diverging kind of lanes. We are partners with them. They do recognize us, but we are not preparing you for their exam. That exam is a completely different thing. We're preparing you to get a job, not a certification, not an ISTQB certification anyways. All right, and also we're number one, baby. That's who we are. We're the best. Again, we're ranked number one out of all the other boot camps. There's a lot of boot camps out there. There's a lot more boot camps out there that are way more expensive, and there are less content, less information, and they're just not as good. Sorry, I don't mean to talk badly about other people. Let me just talk better about myself. We're the best. All right. So that's a little bit about us. Again, we've been a community of testers for a long time, three plus years now. That has just kind of, I think we've probably been a meetup group for longer. I think Dennis probably have to clear that up for me. I actually have never asked that question if that's been the case. But again, we've been doing this boot camp thing and getting people into new careers for the past 3 years. That's a definite, and it's just it's being a part of a community. The For those of you that may probably see someone or ask someone that is in QA, they will tell you that this is a bit of a community. People are really nice to each other when it comes to being, QAs with other QAs. Most of the time, people aren't very friendly. All right. Not only is there free food, there's free beer. I mean, I don't know if that beer is probably not free, but somebody paid for it. It's probably not ones that most people that were there. So that's, you guys don't know the half of it. Yeah, I mean, you get into a cool like little tech company or a startup or something, and they will legitimately be having parties like in the middle of the day. Everybody's like wasted. It's awesome. I used to have a coworker of mine who had a whole bar set up right behind his desk. He had like 4 different kind of whiskeys and stuff. It always concerned me because it's like I don't know how you can allow that to be, but hey, that's IT for you. Excuse me. Hold on a second. That was weird. Alrighty. So as a community, we are partnered up with different companies out there that are some of the largest companies in the IT space. Right. These are partners that we work with, not only to be able to do, kind of be a resource for us or us a resource for them, but they also allow us to kind of recommend students to them, and then they will get in touch with us in regards to having people placed with them that they're looking for, if they have any openings, things like that. We also have some of our ex-students working for some of these companies. We've got our main architect of our program. She currently is, I'm sorry, working at Walt Disney. Her name's Marina. I don't know if you guys are going to be seeing her. uh I don't know if you guys are going to see her, but she's the one that basically is the brainchild. This is the brainchild of her. She's the whiz behind all this. Oh shoot. In any case, all these companies, and these are just a tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more that won't fit on this screen. All right, and that's me. Once again, my name is Nadir. I'm one of the best, baby. I'm gonna be the initial instructor for you guys for the most part. I help set the foundation on the basics. Um, Manual testing is my forte. I've been doing this for 10 years. I'm really good at it in the sense that I know everything um, that you're not supposed to do. So I'll tell you exactly what this is. That, my friend, is a cricket trophy. I have represented the United States of America, being as a cricketer, internationally. I've played in different tournaments across the world, different countries, things like that. So I was actually part of the USA Under 19 World Cup squad about 15, 17 years ago. So that's a little bit about me. But again, currently I do my own consulting company, and we on my current project right now for about 2 years. Just again, manual testing, like what I'm going to be teaching you is literally what I do on a daily basis. All right. Anything more you want to know? Hit me up. I will let you know. So let's get into the meat and potatoes of this. Now that you guys have the intro, again, if it was a little bit fast, if you want to know more about Test Pro, feel free to ask. If you know more about me, feel free to ask. But what we really want to do today is kind of get into what is QA, bugs, and testing, and all that real stuff. All right. Let me see here. Make sure everybody's good to go. Everybody's good to go. All right, cool. So I'm sure you've seen this cute little puppy before too. What is it that testers do? All right. Our jobs is to break stuff. And it sounds funny and it sounds like like a little joke or whatever. Okay, actually, you know what? Before I continue, I had a couple of questions that I saw. So for anybody concerned about contacting me during non-class times, if you're part of the course already, you can contact me in the Slack channel that you guys have. If you're not part of the group, or I'm sorry, if you're not part of the course, then you really can't contact me unless you want to like look up on LinkedIn and send me a message. Other than that, it's not giving you any other of my contact information, man. That's weird. If you find me, I should be on Slack. If I'm not, I'll be on there by the end of the day today. Just look through the thing. If you've already purchased a program, if you've already purchased a bootcamp, you should have Slack. There's nothing to install. They'll send you an email link. You click on the link and you're in Slack. All right. So for all of you guys that have already been registered and paid for the course and are part of the course completely, you should, if you haven't already, you will be getting a Slack email pretty much very soon or almost immediately. I honestly don't have any control on it, but again, it's not something that you need to download. It's not something that you need to do. Just click on it. It'll open up a link. Again, I'm not going to get into Slack questions today. But again, if it just depends on when you registered. If you haven't already, you will shortly. And if you have already, perfect, great, you're in there already. Alrighty. So it's nothing to be concerned about. There's nothing much in Slack right now that you're going to be missing out on or anything. So just be aware. Okay. Is there another way to log in? No, you need to be able to be registered. Is it Outlander? Like there could only be one? Well, that's Highlander. You mean Outlook? That's a different thing. Okay. Oh, this. I don't know. I don't even know what this guy is. It looks like, I don't know. What was that one show with the guy that's in the Batman movies? Forget whatever his name is. Need more info on the free beer. Free beer. There's no such thing as free beer, my friend. Let me just tell you that. They may tell you it's free, but somebody's paying for it. Alrighty. So now that we've got that resolved, I had another question here about. Hold on. Question about the structure of the class. Where can I check the deadlines of the assignment? Okay, so Anna had a question about this. There's like 29 modules, blah blah, and on how do I know when everything is due? Your module for that particular week is due that particular week. Now, if you only thing is you cannot go past that particular module until you've completed it, and you can take as much time as you need. So there's no like deadline. It's just that you're gonna get a little bit behind if you don't complete stuff on time. Okay, so just please be aware of that. Cool. So back to this. Now that I've got everybody's questions answered, let's kind of get into the nuts and bolts of this bad boy. What do? We break stuff. Now, I don't know if you remember, and some of you probably, maybe, again, some of you that weren't part of the last webinar probably won't remember, but my philosophy about testing is being a gorilla at the keyboard. That's how I look at it. That's how I treat it. I just kind of go in there, la, 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 just smash keys, right? That's kind of the idea here. Obviously, it will be a little bit more, complex, a little bit more mature in the way of doing it. You're not literally going to be sitting there like a monkey, smashing keys on your keyboard. But that's kind of the idea here, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to think outside of the rules that they've set up, right? That's my favorite part of this job, is that somebody tells you, okay, this is your box. You have to stay inside of this box. And I'm like over here. And I'm like, they're here and I'm here. Okay. And that is where the fun of this job comes in. So not only are you, you're thinking hard, you're working hard, you're focusing on your job, but you're enjoying it because of the fact that you have the ability to be creative. I'm a creative person. Before I started doing this, I wanted to be a writer, right? So, my kind of comprehension of things and being able to articulate them is a lot better than most people's. Right? You could probably tell by hearing me speak that I'm just, I'm a wizard with words. And I'm actually much better with words. I just have to keep it very simple here, right? Because I'm trying to explain stuff to you, but I can really talk my way out of a paper bag, right? Unless it's something important, and then obviously I'll screw it up, of course. But that's kind of the idea here. And to prepare for that is to be able to, yes, I am that's correct, Arena, you're right. Or again, creativity, it can be taught, right? You can have zero creativity and just see what I'm going to show you and just kind of copy that for the rest of your career. I've done that too. And another thing about this job is you really can get away with like copying off of other people's work. And from what we're going to teach you, or you're going to understand, and to get ideas, you're always getting ideas from people. There's a saying that um, what is it? Creatives take inspiration from others, and geniuses just steal. So we're gonna teach you how to be geniuses. All right. I think it's a Tarantino's quote, and I can butchering it right now, but I love Tarantino, right? So that's my guy. Alrighty. So what exactly, right? What's the thought process here? Now, the what is testing? It is verifying and validating what is that you're building a bug-free software, right? If any of you guys remember or don't know, a bug is an issue with the software, right? An application. Now, just remember, going forward, you're not going to be using terms like website, web page. It's going to be a web application. You're not going to say it's a program. It's a desktop application. It's a mobile application, right? Again, app for short, but these little terminology things make a difference when you start getting into QA. You start realizing and kind of having to go to interviews that little nuance between somebody saying website, web page, or web application, that is the difference between me knowing the difference, between you actually being a legitimate QA or just being someone that's in here, kind of wasting my time, right? I have personally taken a lot of interviews, and I've also given a lot of interviews, right? So it's very easy to sometimes just see who the person on the other end is just by their use of a simple word like a web page or website as compared to web application. Alrighty. So the process starts right where the company goes to their customer and says, hey, we see you have a problem. What can we do to solve the problem? And the customer says, I need to be able to order products. Okay, I need to be able to, let's assume I'm Amazon, all right, and I want to be able to do 2-day shipping. I want to be able to do Amazon Prime. That's my problem. I need to be able to ship faster. So our business team goes to them and says, okay, so you want to be able to ship in 2 days. What do you want to call it? How should it look? How should it perform? Blah, 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 blah. All right. All these questions that they get asked. Now they get these questions asked, and the customer says, okay, it needs to look like this. There needs to be a Prime button. It needs to be 2-day shipping. It needs to be available for our products. Okay, cool. So now those people come back to our company, our people, and they say, hey, you know what? Amazon wants us to build them Amazon Prime. They want it to be 2-day. They want it to have a Prime button, and blah blah blah, right? So then we make sure that we validate that we're building according to that. So those instructions are now given to you as the QA and to the developers, right? So the developers take those instructions and they start writing code, right? They go full matrix, green stuff falling off the screen, right? And you sit there and you start ingesting this information and start thinking of how it's supposed to look and how you're going to test it, right? You ask your questions, right? What browser are we going to use? What colors are things supposed to be? How is it supposed to behave? Blah, 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 right? These questions that you're going to be asking are, 1, 2, and 3 weeks down the line, right? For the classes that are going to be coming up, you're going to get a better understanding on what questions to ask. But the main question we need to be asking is, are we building the right product, right? So whatever the customer has asked, are we building that? Okay, so the answer to that question now will be yes. Okay, so now once that is answered, the next portion of this is the verification, right? So when I click the Prime button, is it actually ordering something, or is it exploding? Is it logging me out? Is it closing the window? So that's the verification of it. Is the product being built correctly, right? So these are the two different things between validation and verification. Validation is, are we building the right thing according to what the customer wants, right? Or what the business wants, or what whoever wants. And also, is the product working, and are we building it correctly, right? Those are slightly confusing ideas, right? So just remember, validation is based off of, are we building the right thing for someone else? And verification is off of, are we building it correctly so it works for everybody? All right. Different types of testing, don't worry about right now, Maria. I understand you want to know what usability and all that stuff is. Those are nuanced things that we're going to get into in a little bit. I want you to just understand the initial concept of validation versus verification, because this is an interview question. They will ask you, what is validation? What is verification? And here's a funny little fact for you guys. Again, I've been doing this for 10 years. I've never gotten this question right in an interview because I always get confused. All right. So you can validate. So Hamza's asking a question, can we verify two different products and you can only validate one? You're thinking about, I don't know what you're thinking about right now, right? The main thing I want you to understand is, what is validation and what is verification? What we're testing, what we're verifying, how many we can do, what we're doing. Don't worry about that right now. That's fine. Don't worry about it. I like the question that you're asking the questions. That's good. But I'm going to tell you what to think right now. All right, just kind of play along with me here. Okay, so all I need you to understand is validation. Are we building the right product? Versus verification. Are we building the product correctly? Those are the two ideas. Just remember that for now. Any other questions before we continue forward? Again, I want you to. I might seem a little curt and a little, a little hard and for the next few things, but I want you to think only what I want you to think right now. Having additional ideas is not going to help you. All right. So remember when I said I'd rather have someone that has no idea what we're doing versus someone that has the wrong idea of what we're doing. All right. I don't see any other questions. All right. So another question I did see was about applications that you need for this course by getting into Slack. Number one, Slack is a completely different thing. You have not gotten it yet. You will get it shortly. Number one. Number two, you don't necessarily need to download any applications for Test Pro for the next couple of weeks. So don't think you're missing out on anything if you haven't had to download anything. We are in 2021. There's not much downloading left to happen anymore. Everything is in the cloud now. All right. Alrighty. So moving on. What are our major activities, right, in testing? So now that we know what we're looking for, are we building the right thing, and are we building it correctly, right? Validation and verification. So what are we doing now? The next thing is to be doing what's considered bug hunting. Now, bug hunting is, again, looking for bugs in the system, in the program, in the application, right? We want to make sure that we are the ones that find the issue before a customer ever sees the product, right? The worst day of your life as a QA engineer is going to be when somebody in production or in a live product sees an issue that you should have seen when you were testing. Okay. Now, a lot of people automatically take that as, oh my god, is my job secure? If there's a bug that I can't that I didn't find and it goes to production and customer sees it, am I going to get fired immediately? It doesn't work like that. All right. This is not, you're not working at McDonald's and you didn't burn some fries and you got fired, right? That's not the case here. But if you're like consistently shitty at what you do, then obviously, right? So there's, don't worry about the fact that that's just not how it works. You are, things get missed. We are human beings, right? That is why they hire you. That is your blessing and your curse, right? Is that the fact that you're a human being and you do work like a human being, all right? So don't ever have that concern. Yeah, and that's another thing, right? You will never be able to get 100% bug-free software or application. It's just not possible. No matter if there's an AI testing it, if there's automation, if there's manual testers, if there's, hamsters and wheels in the background, it just does not matter. It's just not going to happen because you there's just so many different ways to literally click a button, right, on a website, on a web application. There's so many different ways to do it. You may think it's like, oh, click, right? But it's really not just a click. It can be a host of different things. Somebody has a mobile device and they're actually tapping the button, not clicking it, right? Somebody has a keyboard, somebody's using different kinds of mouse or whatever, right? Somebody's using like they're using an old Nokia, like the one you used to play Snake on, and they're trying to access your web page, right? Website, web app, that might be a mistake, right? So there is just no way that you're going to be able to find every single issue 100% of the time. It's just not possible. So the bug hunting that you're going to be doing is, there's two ways of doing it. One's considered ad hoc, which is just kind of going at it without any kind of formal information, any of that stuff. You're just kind of looking for bugs on an application. You're just clicking things, you're entering stuff, you're typing things, you're blah blah blah. Just try to do it. Just try to see what you can do. And honestly, that's really the best way that you find bugs, is when you go into an application without any understanding of how it works or what it does. Because once you know how the product works, then you know how to make it work, right? Instead of trying to break it, you're trying to make it work so you can get to where you need to get to. So when you come in with a fresh mind, that is the best time to come to an application or to a project. Okay. So once you find those bugs, you file them, right? You report those bugs. And then your job is to monitor and track the status and history of those bugs, right? I don't know if you guys remember, or if you don't know, we are going to teach you how to use Jira. Jira is the data repository for everything, and that is where you're going to create these bugs and stuff. I'm gonna show you in subsequent sessions, classes, etc. Don't worry about that for now. How to write it right now. I just want you to understand the concept of what a bug is and how the whole cycle, the bug life cycle here really works in a sense, right? So once you report your bug, right, you find a bug, then you report it, and then it gets prioritized. Like, okay, I see that my page or my application has an issue. Now, should we deal with it? That's the question that I get asked, right? That I'm asking right now. Now, we as QA don't have to decide that. We're lucky in that sense of, we just need to find the problem and throw it into somebody else's lab. Like, hey, I found an issue. What do you want to do with it? Right? And they're the ones that get to make that decision. We don't have to worry about it, but they get to prioritize. Now, once that portion of it is, there's another section of what's called test cases, right? Test cases are the formalized steps that you use to test. So it's like little notes or little documents, basically singular at a time, that you're using to follow that are repeatable that you're going to recreate or rerun to test something. So like, let's say, for example, you're using the Chase banking app, right? So you say open chase.com, enter email address, enter password, click submit, and you should be able to go into your your account information page, right? That is a test case, right? It was a very simple test case, but that's kind of the idea. Now, when you write it down into a document, you are then able to reuse that same stuff. Now, if it worked once, it should work the next 1,000 times that you run it, right? Because if it doesn't, that means something broke. And that's the whole idea. So that's going to be one of the parts of testing activities is writing the test case, executing the test case, which means running the test case, following the steps and doing the steps, and then reporting on those test cases. Did it all pass? Did it all fail? Was there an issue? Is everything good? Blah, 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 blah. And again, story testing is based against requirements. As I mentioned previously, one of the best things about this job is somebody's giving you the answers to the test. You just have to come up with the questions, and the test cases are the questions. And the stories, the user stories, the requirements, those bad boys are the answers. Alrighty, everybody on board with me. I don't see any questions, so I'm assuming everybody gets it perfectly. I'm an amazing teacher, and there are no questions. Let's get moving. Malika, yes, testing applies to web applications, desktop applications, client server applications. There's a lot of different types of applications they can apply to. It is literally testing anything. I mean, it can actually be devices too, like hardwares and stuff. All right, Eric has no questions. Julia's good. That's it. Nobody else is even gonna say anything. Come on, guys. Everybody's good. I'm assuming. I'm hoping. All right. Thank you. Good, good, good. Yeah, the test cases are written in Jira. That's correct. All right, cool. Everybody's on board. Sweet. Let's keep it moving. All right. So, what is a bug? What's the definition of a bug? All right. It is an error or a flaw or a fault in a program that causes it to produce an incorrect or unexpected result, or to behave in unintended ways. Basically, simply put, anything that goes wrong. Correct. Like, that's why I call it a web app, right? Because it is small nuances and just vocabulary that can tell you the difference between somebody knowing what they're talking about and somebody just kind of pretending to know. All right. So this is the formal definition of a bug. Again, anytime something that's supposed to be working correctly, it's supposed to be working one way, and it doesn't work that particular way. Okay, that's what a bug is. So the question is, why was I saying that the web app is the correct way to say it? Because that's the correct way to say web app, right? There's desktop apps, there's client server apps, and there's mobile apps, right? Different kinds of apps. But I was just talking about web app in that particular sentence when I said app. So what percentage of bugs are there, and how are they structured, right? And like, how are they kind of split up? So right now I'm gonna show you this, but what it comes down to is majority is almost 4/5, 4/10. Damn, I'm bad at math. So almost 35% or 34% of it is functionality, right? Function. How does it function, right? Those are the major bugs there. That's the stuff that's going to be the biggest bugaboo really here. Now I'm gonna in the slides that are going to be coming up right now in a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna go into more detail. All right, so just kind of get the basics for right now. Then there's usability that comes in next. Again, does it make sense, right? So is the UI and the UX kind of is it usable enough? Like, if I am looking at something and I think it does one thing and it doesn't, that makes it not usable. All right, or bad usability in that sense. Then there's design. Does it look and feel exactly correct, and so on and so forth. You'll have spelling issues, compatibility issues, localization issues, performance issues, and so on, right? Let's get into that. So what does it really mean? So UI issues, right? Those are, again, layout, right? Let me show you the application you guys are going to be using today, which is called Humans. So this is the layout, right? There's like, it's common. You can see that there's like a theme here that goes red and white and black. That's how it really goes, right? If you guys want to check out this app, it's humans.net. Very simple. But this is the one that you're going to be doing a lot of your testing in initially, right? So this is um, the layout, right? Is it using the same fonts, right? Is it using the kind of the same ideas, the same color? Yep. Remember I said black, white, and red, so on and so forth, right? That's kind of the motif here. So let me show you an issue. I'll show you a bug right now. Actually, I'll come back and show you a bug, but actually, let me show you a bug right now. For example, if you go into the blog, you see how that's different compared to this page? That's a bug. That's a UI bug, right? Because the user interface, the layout, the font, the color is completely different, right? It is not consistent. It can be this way and everything is this way, or it could be this way and everything is this way, but everything needs to be everything, right? It all needs to be consistent. No matter if it's ugly, no matter if it's beautiful, whatever it is, it needs to be consistent. Okay. And then content, images, things of that nature, right? So again, remember UI stands for user interface. Anything that you can see, anything you can touch, you can click, you can interact with, interact, interface. Again, it's very kind of, that's how it's structured, right? So as I mentioned, this looks this way. If I click things, it opens up this page, blah, blah, blah. But if I go into this section here, this looks completely different than the rest of the application. Okay. So that's the basic kind of problem with that one. All right. All righty. So everybody understand? Mm-hmm. So if a client wants different fonts, then that's fine, right? That's the requirement that they've given you. That's the validation that you're doing, right? Are we building it correctly? If they want it to look stupid, we will make it look as stupid as they want. And it sounds like it might sound like a joke to you, like in general, when you say a statement like that, but it literally bees that way. Like they will ask for some silly nonsense and you will do your best to make sure they get the silliest nonsense possible. Correct. Consistency is key here. As long as they pay, exactly. As long as they pay, you will give them whatever the heck they want. Yes. Ugly or nice is not your call. Your call is it whatever, did they want it? Yes. Is that what they wanted? Is it looks or acts and behaves like they wanted it? Yes. Boom. That's what it is. In your mind, it might be it's like, look at it this way. You have to treat it like somebody else's baby, right? It might be the ugliest baby you've ever seen. You're not gonna tell the parents that, right? You go home and talk to your wife or your girlfriend or whatever about it, right? Like, damn, it's the ugliest baby, right? But you don't tell the people that. You say, oh, the baby is the baby. It's there. Just remember that. All right. That's one of my favorite references is ugly babies. All righty. So I'm glad everybody gets that idea. Moving on to the layout portion of it, right? Um, as far as how the page is structured, how is it laid out? What does it look like, right? Which is like, let's say there's misalignments, there's like double margins, and there's like indentations. Let me see if I can actually give you guys an idea. I don't think we have any of the stuff here, per se. Yeah, we don't have any issues on layout wise here. But for kind of understanding, right? Let me make you guys kind of understand. Let's assume this text was on this side here in this area, right? Instead of in the middle of the thing, right? Let me tell you guys, actually, let's look for, let's get Stadia. You see how there's this layout here that there's blah. I just had a glitch in the matrix. There's this consistently here, but then there's a whatchamacallit, a block missing, right? A card. It's usually called a card, CARD. A card missing here, a card missing here, a card missing here. There's no real consistency as to why there's a card missing. And now the rest of the searches are working perfectly, right? The rest of the cards are all appearing in perfect formatted order. But up here in the main thing, this is even worse, right? There's a big dot in the middle of the screen. What dot are you talking about? I think that might be your own screen. Oh, the blog page shit. Sorry. Yeah, right. You see this little dot right here in the middle of the page for no reason. Another thing, right? Why is that there? That's kind of the idea here, right? That's the weird layout issues, right? Another layout issue would be like an image overflow, right? Like words kind of overlapping over each other. Who's going to fix that? The developers are going to fix that, right? Our job is to find the issue, report the issue, and somebody else gets to fix it. So overlapping would be something like, let me show you guys. Where to go? Like this. You see this? This kind of an overlap of the icon versus the actual image, right? This is an overlapping thing. This shouldn't be happening, right? This this is a bug. Okay. All right, let me go back here. Right, and then any kind of spacing issues, right? You know, like when you do when you were writing papers in high school or whatever, or you copy paste something into Word, you'll see that there's like two lines are like this close, and then one line's like separate here, and then there's like three lines, four lines together, and it's like weird kind of spacing between items and stuff. That's what we want to avoid as well, right? These kinds of things. I mean, remember when we were doing the webinar or whatever, I was talking about having an innate, just kind of an understanding on how things are supposed to look, how they're supposed to act. Does that kind of make more sense now? Right? You have an idea, right? Just being a person alive in the year 2021, that how things are supposed to look, right? What consistency looks like. And if it's not consistent, it kind of bothers you, right? It's like, why is it that these three lines are together and then everything else is spaced out, right? Anything out of place that looks weird, Samuel, that's correct, right? That is our job, to make sure that it doesn't look that way. You want the customer to focus on the content, the product, and not how it looks and feels, right? You want them to worry about the reviews of, let's say you're Amazon again, right? You want them to worry about the reviews of the product and the fact that it's killing people, right? What you don't want them to worry about is like, why is half the page purple and the other half is like yellow? That doesn't make any sense to me, right? You want to keep their focus on keep the main thing the main thing. All right. So that's the layout portion of it. Now, other issues, again, revolving around the look and feel of the product is the fonts. Again, like somebody mentioned, I forgot who it was, that if the customer wants three different kinds of, if the customer wants three different kinds of fonts on their page, well, then they want three different kind of fonts. It might be the most ugliest looking web application you've ever seen, but that's what they want, and you're gonna give it to them. You're gonna you're gonna do your damnedest to make sure they get the most ugliest web app that anybody's ever seen because they asked for it. But that's what they've asked for, right? So a lot of times you'll have to make sure. Now, a way of doing this, right? Let's say sometimes it's hard to tell just by the just by your naked eye, like which different fonts there are. So a recommendation that I usually make to people is to copy paste it into Word, right? Copy paste it into Word and see which text gets selected wherever, when you click on the particular text you think is different. So if it's different fonts, you select one area of one font and then another area of another, and it'll show you exactly which is which. So that's how I do it, because otherwise you'll just say, because you'll have to tell the developer, right? Like, hey, the font is different. And they're going to be like, oh, what do you mean different? Right? Well, what you go at them with is, oh, one's Helvetica and one's Helvetica regular versus Helvetica light, right? You tell them exactly what it is. When you file your bugs, right, going forward, The more specific and exact you are, the better it will be. So I'll give you my example was, let's say you are, let's say you, oh shit, I was gonna paste something without knowing what I was gonna paste. Oh my god, that would have been so bad. All right, so let's say this is, you copy paste something, and you copy paste something else that seems like it's different, right? You copy paste the whole section. Hold on a second. And you tell them the font is different. Well, they're like, what the heck do you mean? So if you click on the area where the font is, you see up here, this this font is Calibri, right? Body. But this font, if I click here, is Arial, right? So that's how you can tell them, hey, the font is inconsistent on the page. Half of the page is in Arial and half of the page is in Helvetica, or whatever the other one was. Calibri? Yeah. All right. You just click on the particular text and it'll update up here. All right. That's a little tip for you guys. You would think it'd be hard, but it's not hard. All righty. Again, different family being used. Again, if it's even within the same, font family, it can be different. It can be like a regular versus light versus bold, things like that. And again, if they want every third letter to be bold versus not, that's up to them. But it's your job to make sure that whatever they want, they get. And this is one thing that I didn't really mention, or I haven't said before, or maybe I did and I forgot that I said it. But it is your job, right, as a QA engineer, to play the role of customer. You are their stakeholder. You are a representative of the customer. Now, that puts you directly in conflict with your company, with your developers, right? Because your developers are going to do what they think is best for the company. But it's your job as QA to make sure that they're doing what's best for the customer. That's our role. We take the place of the customer until the product actually gets to the customer. Okay? So just to remember that. That's one of the most important kind of concepts that you are going to really understand here, is that we are the stakeholders for the customer. We take their place until they actually take their own place. All right. And we have to think that way. We have to be combative in that regards, right? To make sure that the customer is getting what they've asked and paid for a lot of the times. That is where it comes from. All right, perfect. So Samuel said, don't devs get mad when you correct them too much, like they might feel like you're making them look bad? So a wise man once told me, if you're walking down the side of the sidewalk, right, and there's a developer walking up from the opposite side, if he or she doesn't cross the road and start walking on the other sidewalk, then you're not doing your job well enough. Okay, so that's the way you have to approach this. Now, it doesn't mean that there should be like fighting or conflict. It just means that they should be worried. They should be worried they should be scared of you. Okay, because you are going to not give any quarter. You're not going to take it easy on them because they're your buddy or not, right? What you're going to do is you're going to do your job to the best of your abilities, which means directly that you're going to be testing and pushing these guys. All righty. Yeah, they're not Matt. So they shouldn't hate you. Hate is a strong word. Big, but they will be. They should be afraid of you. Number one, in a sense. Yeah, we're like, it's like the revenge of the nerds. But in reality, the developers are always bigger nerds than we are. I mean, I don't know about you guys. Just because I wear glasses, let's not go down that road. All right. In any case, but here's the beauty of this, right? It's the fact that, again, exactly, they may not be your biggest fans. They may think that you are purposely out to just get them. But if the product at the end of the day ships correctly, the product goes out to production correctly, the customers use it, the company makes money, then it's a team success. You are looking out for, you're looking out for them. You've got their back, even if they don't know it or they don't think that you do. And that's what it is. It's like, what other kind of example could you give? I'm drawing a blank here, right? But it's a team game, right? It's nobody loses as an individual. I don't know if you guys have ever played team sports, right? But when you win, it's like it's not just one person that did something, amazing. You win as a team. But especially when you lose, that's when you lose as a team. Is the fact that it wasn't that one person screwed something up. It's that we all did something. We all didn't do enough to make sure that our team won. And we as QA are making sure that our team wins every single time. Yeah, it's like kind of like being like a nurse or a dental assistant or like a hygienist or something. Well, I wouldn't put it that far. I'll give you an example of what QA is, okay? If you guys know soccer or if you guys know baseball, QA is the catcher or the goalie. Okay? We are there to make sure that we give our team the best chance to win. Right? But nobody's going to really notice us until we let a goal go past us or a baseball goes flying past our ear. All right. That's what I want you to think as. You're the goalie. The developers, the business people, they're out in front. They're kicking the ball all around. But when it comes back to it, we're the last wall of defense, right? We're the ones that have the clean sheet at the end of the day. And if we have a clean sheet, then what happens on offense is a whole other deal. If they can get a goal or two in, perfect. Or if they can get a couple of hits in, great. But us as the backstop, as the defense, as the last line of defense, we are the ones responsible, right? Alrighty. Kind of going off on a tangent here, right? You guys will notice that happens a lot with me. I go off on tangents all the time. Alrighty. Okay, so color mismatches. Anytime there's a color mismatch, continuing on with the same UI kind of report. Anytime there's a color mismatch, anytime there's a, like a button color is off, the font color is different. Like like I showed you guys with the blog page, right? This color scheme being off, right? The layout being off. That's what we're talking about here. Okay. All right. Content, right? Spelling. Like now, I know. So this is always a point of contention for a lot of people that speak English as a second language, or the language itself is not their strong suits. For the most part, a lot of these things are going to be very, very basic, very simple. They'll just be mistakes somebody made somewhere along the line, right? So you should be able. If somebody can find a bug on this, I'll give you a high five. All right. There's a bug on this screen right now, and if you can find it in the next 30 seconds, I will personally give you a high five. I want to give you guys 30 seconds. Yes. Spelling mistake is a spelling mistake. we're like in the freaking in the Matrix in here. So spelling mistakes is actually spelled wrong. All right. So that's your little funny part of the day today. But again, same kind of idea, right? Spelling mistakes, any kind of a mismatch of images, mismatch of letters or words. Uppercase, everything is in caps for some reason where it shouldn't be or isn't supposed to be. Things of that nature, right? So that's kind of what we're looking for as well. Just any kind of content issues, images versus spelling versus now things like now this will come down to localization portion of this, but things like aluminum versus aluminium, right? That's going to be Like those are the things that depends on where your application is marketed to. If your application is marketed to Europe and Asia, then it'll be aluminum. If it's North America, it'll be aluminum, right? So just those are the kind of things. I mean, that comes into the localization side of it, but that's kind of the idea here too, as far as it's that might not be a mismatch at all. That might not be a mistake at all. That's just how it's supposed to be, right? Depending on what locale you're in. Alrighty. So that's the content stuff. And as I mentioned, like, this little encroachment here is really part of the UI bug. That's kind of, it shouldn't be happening. It shouldn't be encroaching like this. It should wrap onto the next line. So this little portion, free score, blah, 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 should be on the next line here instead of trying to smash into the text up here. All right, that's just one quick example. Another, as I mentioned, right, like we've shown you, another UI bug or the UI issue was these search cards, right? These cards just disappearing for no particular reason. And then when you go into the show more section, they're all consistently there. There are no missing tiles. There are no missing cards, right? Again, you can either call them tiles or you can call them cards. I like calling them cards, but you can call them tiles. It's up to you. Yep. Color depending on the country that you're in. Absolutely. How you spell it, right? That's what it is. So this is another. The UI again stands for user interface. Let me send that to everybody. Yeah, there you go. User interface. Right, that's UI. There's UX as well, which is different. Holy crap. User experience. I totally, my mind went blank on what UX stood for. Oh my God. It's too early. All right, cool. So continuing on. So functional testing, right? System is tested against the functional requirements and it's functioning as it should, right? You're given requirements. You're given idea, an understanding of how it's supposed to work, right? So for example, my idea is if I type in a search for a cleaner or a house cleaning, house cleaning, I should be getting auto suggest as I type. Anytime I type a letter, it should be popping up. And then when I select something, it should be able to do a search. Right? That is the functional understanding of how this is supposed to work. Okay. So that obviously you'll get in requirements, and that's the functional testing that you're doing, right? If it's supposed to behave a certain way, if I click here, I'm supposed to be able to select one of the things in the drop down, or if I type in, anything in the field, the text field, it should be able to update it, right? Some places, like here, when I type in, as I'm typing, right, this is getting updated. In a different application, you would have to type the whole thing, then hit the magnifying glass, and then you would see the results, right? Again, it's all functional based on how they want it, right? And that will be given to you, right? You will be told like there should be auto suggest popping up when you type in any kind of a character, right? Things of that nature. Those are the functional understanding of a product. Do you guys get what functional means at this point? Everybody got it? All right, go. Cool. So remember what I mentioned that this whole bootcamp is related to black box or manual testing, right? So manual testing and black box testing kind of go hand in hand, right? You don't know how the sausage is actually made, right? You don't know how the engine actually works. You can look at it, you can put water in, you can check the oil, but you're not looking at the pistons in the engine, right? You're not looking at the fuel line and all that stuff, right? That's what black box is. It's literally, just think of a black box, right? And you can't look inside of it. You don't know what's happening inside, but you do know that if you put in, a pencil on this side, that it'll come out on the other side as just a piece of wood or something. I don't know, whatever. How to really explain that. That was a terrible example. I'm so good at these, and I gave you guys a horrendous example. A printer. Think of a printer as being a black box. Paper goes in, a printed something comes out, right? How does it print inside? Well, how does the ink process? How does the little printer thing move back and forth? You have no idea, right? So that's what black box is. If you look at a printer, it's literally a black box, right? You put a paper in, you get this image out. How it happens, you have no idea, other than you hear the sound of the thing going, right? So you provide an input or a stimulus. The black box does its magic and gives you an output, right? So a user action returns a system reaction, right? That's what black box testing is, right? Basically like this. When the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, presses a button, the limo blows up. All right. By the way, this guy is my favorite wrestler of all time. I love this guy. Or I used to love this guy. I haven't seen him in like 20 years now. But that's kind of the idea here. You press a button, some magical stuff happens in the system. The system provides you with an output. You provide an input, which is the click of a button on your keyboard. The system does this little magic, and it gives you an output, right? That is black box. Now, another example is Amazon. You find a product, you click the buy now. It processes everything in the back, and within 48 hours, you have, a box at your front door. How it works in the back, how the data is processed, how the payments processed, how the warehouse moves the product, who ships it, who brings it, who drives the cart, who cares, right? That's a whole black box for us. All we know is I paid for it, boom, 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 and I get a package at my front door. That's a black box. Okay. We'll get into white box and everything, but right now I want you to understand what the concept of black box is, and to make sure that you understand that. All right. So I'm assuming everybody kind of gets it. I don't like assuming. That's always a bad idea. Everybody with me? Yes? No? Maybe so. Okay, cool. Alrighty. So as I mentioned, functional bugs. So let's kind of give you guys an example here. So you search for a service, let's say electrician in New York, and then you reset the filters, and then you check out the city, and it's still the same. So I'll show you guys how this works, right? I know this kind of makes sense here. So like I said, I did blog writing, right? And then I selected the location as Los Angeles, right? Which is so strange that's another bug. Remember there was the whole little box here underneath, right? That box is gone now, which is a bug itself to like, why did that happen, right? But another thing is if you reset the filters, you'll see that all of these, everything comes back. But if you click here, all right, hold on a second. Let me do this again. All right, let's see. Electrician, and location is going to be, let's say, New York, Nueva York. All right, so you put in electrician, you put in the city, you click the find button. Now you've got your research results here, right? Now let's say you hit this reset filters, right? Everything comes back. But if you hit it here back in the location, you'll see that it still says New York here. Right? That is a functional bug. Okay. Now, if you notice, when I did it a different way, it didn't work, right? It didn't show this issue. So that's like the thing to remember, that is a reason why we provide very specific steps to show exactly what we did to get to this point, right? So any other way you would do this would not work. The error wouldn't show up, and the developer would say, hey, look, it's not an error. It's not a bug at all. You're just a foolish QA. And then they would go back to their plans to take over the world and whatnot. But that's the idea here, is to make sure that you are providing very clear and exact steps on exactly what you did to be able to get to the point that you found the bug. Okay? That is a functional bug. Right? It's supposed to function, and it's not. When you clear filters, it's supposed to clear the filters. Why is this still showing? Even up here, it says location, it just shows any, but in the dropdown, it still shows New York, right? That needs to be cleared. That's a cache issue usually. All right. Compatibility testing. Now, again, it is our job to make sure that our application is as widely consistent with as many products, as many different versions, as many different hardwares, operating systems, browsers, devices, so on and so forth. And here's another big thing about this is you will be told what devices, what browsers, etc. Your company or your product will support. Okay, and if they don't, you have to ask that question. Like, hey, what do we support? Are we supposed to support Internet Explorer? Are we supposed to be able to support Chrome, Edge, Firefox, Opera, Safari, Ubuntu? um, so that's the idea here, right? So checking your software is capable of running on different hardware, OS's, application, network, environment, mobile device. Again, OS always stands for operating system, right? So iOS is the Apple version. I forget what the I is in iOS. What is the I in iOS? Whatever it is, it's blank operating system, right? Android OS is an Android operating system. Windows OS, Linux. Yes. Oh yeah, I can Google it. What is the I? What is the I in iOS? Internet operating system? Really? Okay, that's one of your assignments for today. I want you guys to find out what the I in iOS stands for. iPhone operating system? Uh, internal? I don't know, whatever. Find it. I want you to Google it. It was one of your homework assignments. And that's not part of your real homework assignments. It's just part of the assignment I'm going to give you right now. I want you to find out what the I in iOS stands for. All right, one sec. I is I. Yeah, great. Thank you. All righty. So, yeah, compatibility. Remember, so as I mentioned, we have to make sure that our product is available as on a wide product, base as much as possible, right? So, for example, Internet Explorer 11, right? It is out of commission at this point. You're not supposed to be able to use it anymore. They've replaced it with Edge. But let me give you guys another piece of little information. The United States government, for the most part, the Pentagon, the FBI, CIA, all these old, the health department, their entire process runs on Internet Explorer in the year 2021. That is why our checks, when they need to come, take forever. That is why when our tax returns are being processed, it takes forever. That's why anything that's government related is so damn slow, is because they're still stuck in 2003. Okay, so that's the idea here. But that's the compatibility we need to account for, right? Again, your business team, your company will tell you what exactly is supposed to be supported. But again, the most of the time, if they don't give you an idea, you can find a bunch of bugs in IE 11. Somebody asked, why is the government still stuck in those old things? Because it's like trying to make a cruise ship do a 90-degree turn. It's going to take a while, and it's going to cost a lot of money. That's why they have millions of people using it. They've been using it forever. It works for them for the most part, and that's why it's tough to pivot from that. And it requires like hundreds of millions of dollars. That's the biggest reason behind why they don't update them. It's not feasible. All right. So that's the compatibility issue. Again, you open anything in IE 11, and the thing that you think works beautifully works like doesn't work at all anymore. All right. Continuing on with localization, as we mentioned, as I had mentioned previously, right? It's a 6-continent model, right? Is Europe, and Asia kind of have the similar ideas. Again, it's like centimeters versus inches, yards versus meters, whatever. Everything needs to be, dollars versus rubles, things like that. Everything has to be according to the localized, environment, right? If you're translating into French, the page, yeah, kilometer versus mile, again, it's the right way how we do it here versus the wrong way how the rest of the world does it. Okay, America, number one, baby. All right. Again, language. If anything currency related, how people structure their currency, how they write it out versus how we do it the right way. Date and time format, again, month, day, year versus the wrong way how everybody else does it, day, month, and year, right? Um, that's kind of the things that you need to look out for. A lot of the times they have programs, or they have um, applications that they use to do the conversion for you. So you click a button and everything turns into a whole thing. Or also, you can remote into the applications from like a different location, right? You can select yourself from wherever in the continent of Africa or Asia, or let's say Australia or something, and the application is supposed to recognize where you're coming from and kind of update yourself. All right, that's the localization portion of this. Now, performance testing is something that is a specialty, right? Um, it's kind of like the idea of, how doctors have specialties. So there's family doctors, there's surgeons, and even surgeons have thoracic surgeons, brain surgeons, orthopedic surgeons, right? That's kind of the same case with QA. We have specialties too. We have, people that are specifically sport performance testers, which means they're testing the speed, responsiveness, and stability of a program under a workload, right? It's a type of automated testing. It's next level. We're not going to be teaching you how to do it, but we're giving you an idea on what it is and how to do it, right? So it's basically the sense of, how many people can access your application, right? If you don't develop it well enough and streamline enough to be able to handle 100 people to 1 million people, somewhere along the line, let's say you go viral somehow, right? You go viral, and you have a product, and all of a sudden 1 million people want to buy it at the same time. If your application is not developed to be able to handle 1 million people, it will crash. So for example, Kylie Jenner, poor Kylie Jenner, billionaire Kylie Jenner, boohoo. When her website went launched in 2016, 200,000 users hit the website, and the site went down. So she wasn't able to make another $50 million. Brew freakity who, right? But in reality, that just means that um, the customers are angry, right? So in this capacity, it's Kylie Jenner. Who gives a shit, right? But in reality, right? Let's say you're working for an application. Hmm? You're working for a company, and USQA didn't manage to performance test your application. And now when your company goes live, right? Nobody's able to access the product. Nobody's able to order it. Nobody's able to purchase it. And your company loses millions of dollars. That means people lose their jobs. And I'm not talking about QA. I'm talking about like people in the warehouse, people that are working in the sales department, people that are working on this side. QA is what it is. But that's kind of the effect that we have. So, we not only have an effect on like the look of the product and how it feels, but in reality, we have a direct relationship with how much money a company makes. And also the fact that if we screw up, the company loses revenue. And when the company loses revenue, people lose jobs. Right. So yeah, it seems like it's fun and games and it's like a very simple job and it has no consequences. That's absolutely not correct. Your job, you doing a good job, has a direct relationship with people keeping their jobs. If you screw something up and you miss something and the product, fails, the entire company fails. And it's not squarely on your shoulders, obviously, right? Remember, it's a team game, right? But this should definitely make you understand that, because the reason why I say it this way, right, is because a CTO of mine, he explained it to me. He's like, look, man, you think that you're just testing, buttons on a page, but if people can't order the product, this company can't make money. This company can't make money. They can't pay the bills. They can't pay the bills. You shut down, right? It's a domino effect, right? So I want everybody to make sure you understand that going forward, that this is not a consequence-less job, right? It's very consequential. Sorry, inconsequential was the word. This job is very consequential, and it has a direct effect on. And the thing is, it's the same thing as, like I mentioned, it's about being a goalie or a catcher in baseball, right? If you do your job well, nobody's ever going to know you're there, and yet the team succeeds on your back, basically. All right. So that's performance testing for you. So usability testing, again, it is a way of just figuring out how easy it is to use a website, a web application, right? How quickly can you figure it out? Is it simple enough? If you tell the customer to press any key and then they're searching around on their keyboard to look for any key and they can't find it, and they start calling your company like, hey, I can't find the any key. What the heck's going on? Your product's messed up, right? Just remember, you're dealing with basically like a 4-year-old. All right, that's the mentality that you have to have when you're doing usability testing or any kind of testing, really. All right, that's I mentioned the gorilla at a keyboard, but the other way that I think about testing is, how would a 4-year-old use this? Right? If you tell a 4-year-old you have to type 7 characters, and one of them needs to be capital, one of them needs to be alphanumeric, one of them needs to be one of them needs to be a symbol, how well do you think they're going to understand this? Right? And that's the way that we should always think when we're doing testing, right? What would a 4-year-old do or think in this scenario? If you have a kid, you'll know exactly. If you ever had a 4-year-old, or you have a 4-year-old right now, you will know exactly that you tell them to click here and enter something. What they will do is they'll get up out of the chair, jump up on top of the chair, and then run into the kitchen. Right? So literally nothing to do with the application. They'll just get the heck out of there, right? That's kind of the idea here, right? You tell someone to do something very specific, and then you think of it like a 4-year-old. What would they do? I don't agree with a 70-year-old comment, Carol, because 70-year-olds are a little bit more, at least have some experience. They can kind of understand. They may be technically challenged, but they still can follow, or at least try to follow simple instructions, right? But kids, a 4-year-old, not just kids, a 4-year-old specifically. There's something about 4-year-olds, right? Is like, hey, just this is a pizza in a box. Well, they try to eat the box. That's for whatever reason, 4-year-olds are just kind of like that. Somewhere in that, they're just weird like that. All right. So again, I'm sure you guys have seen this before as the usability bug about, somebody pressed the wrong button and all of a sudden there's a missile threat on the whole island of Hawaii. All right. That's a usability issue, right? And a usability issue, for example, in humans, I'll show you something, right? When you are in this section, right, you see this little, oh, look at this, it's such a nice little, these little things are like the cards are going on the screen. Well, let me try to click one of them. Oh, wait, what? Huh? What the? That's a usability issue. You kind of go back and forth, and it just goes berserk. That's a usability issue. All right. That's kind of the idea here. Oh crap. Oh no. So those are the kind of usability issues that we're talking about. All right. Now, another specialty is security testing. For the most part, we as QA, especially QA engineers in the beginning, we don't do much security testing because they require a whole different skill set. Remember, it's a specialty. Performance testing, security testing is slightly different. And again, it's just to make sure that the system that we've created protects the customer's data and maintains functional integrity and data integrity as much as possible. right? One customer's information doesn't get into another customer's account. One customer can access somebody else's orders, things of that nature. All right, that's kind of the idea here. Our extent to security test is that, but then there's also like white hat hackers that make sure that their system is impenetrable, things of that nature. If you want to get into that, that's again a specialty. It's a different thing altogether, not something that we really focus on here today, and also going forward. But security issues like this, like I mentioned, security is making sure that one person can't get into another person's information. Well, it's also when let's say, for example, that if you get a FaceTime call, if you deny it or if you don't pick up, the person calling you shouldn't be able to see through your phone or hear you, right? That's kind of the idea here. I'm sure most of you have seen this, but also is the fact that this young man found this bug and got paid 200,000 from Apple, right? The fact that their FaceTime app was kind of acting funky like this. All right. So how do you find bugs? As I mentioned previously, right? Like I talked about ad hoc and exploratory testing, right? You have to go into the application with a clear mind about no idea how it's supposed to work, right? Or how it should be working. And you just trying to find your way and you try to see how you can break it the best as possible in the beginning without any kind of like, any kind of what? Any kind of preconceived idea, right? You go into it with a completely blank mind and you just kind of go in and start finding out, right? So that's terrible. 1 second, guys. Sorry, I'm a QA and this kind of gets on my nerves a little bit. All right. There you go. So it is, again, you're performing this without any kind of planning, any kind of documentation, it's basically like experimenting with it. Like I mentioned, you're like this little cute guy at a keyboard. You're just clicking buttons, tapping stuff on the keyboard. It's only supposed to be run once, right? Unless you find a defect. And the least formal test method. Ad hoc testing is not formal testing at all. Okay. It is. It is. You're just supposed to be able to go in there and start clicking stuff, and whatever happens, happens. Right? It's not a formal testing method. It's just you're going in there without any kind of clear idea, and you're kind of just finding your way. Ad hoc testing can be done by anybody. That's correct, but you still need to know what you're looking for, right? You, as a QA, will still have a better idea than somebody that doesn't have any idea of what they're looking for. But yeah, ad hoc testing can be done by anybody. So Terry asked this question. It's a good question. Like, when you find a bug in ad hoc testing and not know what buttons you pushed, how do you explain that to the developers? Well, that's why we have to have steps to reproduce, right? You have to figure out a way that how is it that I was able to create this result, and then you report on that. If you can't, then it's not technically a bug, because who knows what the heck you did. Now, if you can't even repeat it, how is the developer supposed to be able to repeat it? All right. Alrighty. So we like taking screenshots. We take a lot of screenshots. We don't do that many video recordings for the most part, but there's different ways of doing it. If you've got a Windows machine, you can do Windows Shift S. If you've got a Mac OS, you can do Command Shift 4. And on iOS devices or mobile devices, you use power and volume up. And on your Android, you do power and volume down. There's different tools that out there, but the tool that I like to recommend is called PickPick. If you want to download it, it's free. If it probably will ask you to pay for something or for like a full version. Don't pay for it. You don't need to. I've been using it for, I don't know, about like 5-6 years now without having to pay a single cent. It's a free software. Download it, use it. It's a great tool. Again, it'll help you take screenshots. The reason why it is good, let me show you guys. I put it in the chat. It's pick. PICK. All right, let me show you guys, right? So I'll print screen and I'll take screenshot of this. I'll take a screenshot of the screenshot. All right, and I'll show you guys. So this is the tool that it is, right? What you can do is you can like highlight stuff, right? You can use arrows, right? Go here, things like that. You can make it like real fat, all right, stuff like that. Things of that nature. It doesn't do video recording, but it does. You can use shapes, any kind of shape you want. All right, it kind of keeps it here. All right, things of that nature. All right, it's just what I like to use. Again, there's 1,000 out there. You can use whichever one you like. I just like use. I know this one. It's free, and that's why I recommend using this one. All right. All righty. So we are pretty much at the end of the class today. There's a few more slides that we have to go through. Yes, the snipping tool is okay. The snipping tool is not. It doesn't have as much functionality as this. I don't like the snipping tool that much. I don't do video screen recording, but there's tools inside of Windows. I'm sorry, Microsoft, DevOps, and all that stuff. They'll be able to do that. That usually is able to do it for you. All right, so homework for today. LMS. You need to get LMS access. You'll be getting the email link shortly. Again, if you've paid for it, you'll be getting the email link shortly. Complete the first lesson in LMS. I'm going to show you LMS right now. Excuse me, in a minute. There's also a bug hunting competition. If you participate in the competition, you will be able to get a $200 credit. This is for everybody. If you've already purchased a program, or if you're looking to purchase a program, if you win the bug hunting competition, you can get an additional $200 off of our program, of what you've paid for or what you're going to pay. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Let me see here. Okay, let me show you what LMS looks like. But again, the link will be emailed to you later today. You click on it, you open it up, you click on login at the top right here, and then you'll be logging in, and then you can see you got this, your first session, the onboarding portion of this. Go through it, complete it, and you should be able to do that. All right. The next thing, I want you to be, save it to your bookmarks, complete the lesson. Everything from today is in there. The next thing is, don't worry about the testimonials. I mean, obviously, you guys have been. This is how every single class is going to be, right? So another thing is this little tag down here. Anytime you need anything, you have a question for the admin team, you have a question for the for help desk or anything like that, type it here. All right. Again, let me show you where you log in. You see, again, this up here, this little button is where you're gonna be logging in, top right. So again, if you open the link, it'll take you to this page. And then the link will be in your email, all right? Just remember, you click up here and your login screen pops up and you give in your email and your password. Again, this is what you're registered with. Also, the link to get it into it will be emailed to you shortly. If you don't have it right now, you will have it shortly, okay? All right, continuing on. So what do you need to land a job as a QA? All right, this is what you need, right? You need knowledge. You need to be able to have the tools and techniques that's part of this course. You need to be able to understand and work within and outside of the tech environment. You need to practice with real projects. You need support from your team, from your teachers, from everybody around you. And finally, you need to be prepped for interviews. Somebody asked about testimonials. They are everywhere. Google TestPro. I don't spend too much time on this because number one, you can't read any of this. Number two, it's all positive, right? I don't want you to take my word for it, and I don't want you to take the screenshots word for it. I want you to go read what the people have actually said. We're like 4.99 stars, like literally. So I don't sit here and talk about what particular one person said that. We're the best, bar none, period. Today was a first class session. Every class session is like this. You deal with me directly for the most part, right? That should give you an idea of who we are and how good we are. If you still have some questions and you still want to know what the testimonials say or what our reviews are, Google it. It's all out. The internet has everything. All right. Um, so continuing on again, I'm not going to waste time on that. The homework again is in LMS. You have to complete the first session, right? The LMS link is going to be mailed to you. Number two, are we going to be using Slack during the class? For the most part, in the class, you do not. Okay. For the most part, in the class, you will not need to use Slack, but going forward, after class, yes, you will definitely do that. All right. So this is what you need. This is what we offer, right? What you need is what we've got, right? Again, this is for the people that haven't actually become part of the course yet, right? They're thinking about becoming part of the course. If you're still on the fence, right, I would recommend you to get up off that fence and make the jump. Again, so what are we teaching you? Like we did today. Just give me a second, guys. I'm gonna have to go through the next few the slides with all the sales information, and then I can answer your questions. Okay. So that's so again, like we started today, we're talking about the STLC, which is a software testing lifecycle, and we talk about the software development lifecycle as well. Like we did today, we did a few real world examples, right? It shows you a little bit on the applications that you're going to be testing, but for the most part, we did both theory and practical, right? The more classes or the deeper we get into the course, the more, actual practice you guys are going to be doing. And you are actually going to be doing practice as for homework today too, or this week, right? You go into LMS, it'll tell you what the bug hunting competition is. It'll tell you what you're looking for. Humans.net, I think, is the one that you're going to be doing. That's important, right? And you're going to actually start testing today. Okay. So that's the number one thing. Your QA career literally starts today because you're actually going to be start testing today. All right. All these information, again, all different types of testing that there are out there. Like we've talked about different kinds of bugs today. There's also different types of testing that we're going to be going over again in subsequent classes. App architecture. We're going to be teaching you how to test web applications like we did today. Just as, again, a very quick intro, but obviously it's just to give you an intro. But also we're going to be showing you how to test mobile application. How do we do checking builds? We also teach you how to use database testing, right? Whatever kind of testing tools that we have to be able to test databases, API testing. We give you an introduction to smoke testing and regression testing. That's again a different type of testing. And then also the most important thing really here, after learning everything, is to see you can have all the ingredients, right? You can have the peas and the carrots and the steak and this and that, potatoes, everything, but you got to learn how to put in the spices and mix it all together in a bowl or bowl in a pan, right? And make the dang stew. And that's what the interview process is about. That's what we teach you in the interview process, to how to take all this information that you've just learned in the last whatever 7, 8, 9 weeks, put it together and try to explain to people why they should give you a job, why they should pay you to come work for them, right? That's the secret sauce right at the end, is to be able to put all the ingredients together and present it to your client, your customer, whoever. As I've mentioned previously, the class schedule is as such that we're meeting between 6 and 7:30 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Now that's 6 to 7:30 Pacific time, right? That is 9 to 10:30 on the East Coast. Everything in between, you figure it out. All right. And then same as I'm sure you're aware today, most of you guys were here on time, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Pacific every Saturday. That's obviously, that was what we did today, where you guys all showed up, which is great. On federal holidays, bank holidays, we do not have classes. Now, you don't lose that class. Class just gets moved on to the next day. So let's say Christmas is on Tuesday. That Tuesday class gets moved to that Thursday. Okay. So let's say your interview prep class is on Tuesday. Instead of on Tuesday, you do the interview prep class on Thursday. All right. All righty. So that's our schedule. All right. And again, mentioning what kind of tools we have. Yes, 1 second. All right. All right, there we go. So again, like I've mentioned previously, Jira, we're going to be giving you licenses for. Again, it's not, no, Sasim, that's not correct, right? We don't have classes on Fridays anyways, right? We would have that Thursday class on a Saturday. All right, so what tools are we going to use? We're going to be teaching you how to use Jira, right? Um, Confluence and Zephyrs are plugins into Jira. Again, there's nothing you need to download for that. You'll be given a link and you'll be able to log it in, and you have to register and go in and create. Again, if you're on a mobile device, you can download Slack. Otherwise, you can use your browser. Same thing with a Zoom meeting. It's a free software. You should be able to download no problem. Just register, and the link that we send you through your email, you'll be able to open it up. Right? Everybody is Everything is sent to you via email messages, right? For the most part. So just keep that in mind. Let me see here. Again, there's multiple tools that we're going to be showing you. For the most part, Xcode, Android Studio, Charles Proxy, Browser Stack, Postman. These are all different kinds of tools that we use for different types of testing, right? Xcode is for mobile testing for iOS devices. Android Studio is for Android testing. Browser Stack is to test using different devices. Remember compatibility testing? So we will show you how to use Browser Stack to make sure your application is as compatible across the board as possible. Postman is used for API testing. That's more backend stuff. You will not know what an API is. Don't worry about what an API is. Don't worry about what Postman does right now, class 1. Okay. So we already saw humans today. I know you guys saw. What in the world, man? Hold on a second, guys. Oopsie daisy. Sorry, I know this is not the right time to do this, but it bugs me. Come on, man. This is really annoying. All right, sorry. I'll do this later. I should have done this before we got in here. I didn't even look at it. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can do this. Aha. Got you, sucker. There we go. All right. Yeah, we keep it real. It needs to be lower. But we already started working with humans today. All right. That's one of the main projects that we're going to be working on. Again, there's also Coil, which is a music streaming app, which is like a Spotify. And then there's Wire, which is a mobile messaging app, kind of like a Telegram / WhatsApp. These are the 3 main projects that you're going to be working on. These are all the things that you're going to be testing. Again, we've started with humans already, and you're going to be continuing on with humans for a few days, for a few weeks actually. All right. So based off of what we've kind of spoke about, what do you need for success? What do you need to be able to do this? Right. The class is number 1. Oh shoot, that's me. The class is number 1. Right. That's the main important thing. The actual theory, the instructor-led instructive classes, the homework with the feedback. Right. That's extreme. That's the most important thing. What am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? Using the real tools. We're going to be working with the different tools that we've spoken about. Most importantly, Jira and Zephyr. Those are the 2 most important tools in your vocabulary right now. I can guarantee you one thing. By the end of this 9 weeks, if you don't learn any single thing else, you will 100% know how to use Jira. Okay? Keep that in mind. Another, basically all the projects, whatever you need to have practice on, you're going to have live projects to do your testing practice on. Not only are you going to be able to do the live practice on the test projects, you can literally test any web application out there. You can go into Instagram and try to test Instagram. You can open up Facebook and try to test Facebook. And if you really want practice, you can write test cases for all different kinds of applications on your own, right? That just it's up to you. But the more practice you do, the better. Again, remember, like I said, the more you put into this, the more you get out of it. That's really the idea here. right? It's like farming, right? The more seeds you put in, the more you water it, the more you nurture it, the more it grows. And the beauty of this thing is it's going to grow into a money tree. All right. Um, as part of the course, again, you have teachers, mentors, coordinators, leads, support, everybody available to you, right? Again, they're all available through Slack or the website directly, our actual website. I'm not going to say web app, but I'm actually going to say website right now because that's the page that we go through, right? That's what's available to you guys. Anytime you have a question about any of this stuff, either get in touch with the admissions team, get in touch with our help desk if you have any login issues. But please don't do any of that right now. Today is class number 1. There's a lot of you that registered at some certain cutoff date that may not have gotten an email or that may get an email later on. So please hold off on any, inundating them just yet. Give it till, at the very, let's say, if not tomorrow, at the latest by Monday, you should have it, right? And then from that point onwards, then you'll be able to continue on whatever you need to do, right? Again, the environment itself, we're going to create little teams for you guys and agile teams. Your stand-ups and all those things are going to be done in the future. Interview prep, like we've said repeatedly, very important. Probably the most important thing outside of learning the basics, right? But we do provide you with all the interview prep that you need. Mock interviews. You get 3 individual mentoring sessions. Again, this is also to repeat for people that have already purchased the programs, right? You do have 3 mentor sessions, which is one-on-one, 30 minutes with our instructors, right? With our mentors, where you can discuss, how to fix your resume, how to do mock interviews, and how to prepare for your main interviews, right? We have job search assistance as well, which is, again, there's a separate thing available for that for the platinum plan. That's separate. There is a 1-month internship available as well. And then finally, which is the thing that makes this completely risk-free, is you have a money-back guarantee, right? After 1 year of active searching, and that's very key here, that keyword active searching, if you're still not successful, you get your money back. So, worst case scenario, you somehow screw it up and you can't get a job, money back. Best case scenario, you make a job where you're making $100,000 a year, you make your money back in one paycheck. All right. Again, what if, let's say, somehow I turn into a real jerk and you guys don't like me and you don't like the course, it doesn't make any sense to you, you don't think it's worth it, you have a 14-day money back guarantee. So you can get a full refund within 14 days. No questions asked, no BS. It takes 2 to 3 business days to get the money back to you. But again, we know how hard it is for most people that get into the course because they're trying to change their careers. They're not making enough money as it is. So we don't screw around with your money. If you need it back, we'll get it back to you immediately or as quickly as possible as the banks will allow it. But we make sure that there is no screwing around with that stuff. Money is very important, especially for someone that's trying to do a career change. That is extremely, extremely important. So we don't do any kind of, there's no half-ass kind of activity with that. Again, if there's any issues with attending the live class, there is a recording available immediately after, right? So as soon as we are done today, as soon as I hang up this call, this meeting is closed. Within a few minutes, you will be getting an email with the recording URL and everything. Again, job assistance is included. What does that mean? Mock interviews, mentoring sessions, interview coaching, resume building. All these things are options available to you as you go forward. What are we going to put as far as real experience on your resume? Well, the projects that you're working on are real live projects, right? So you're going to be using that as experience, and it counts as experience. And also, you being able to remember when I said web application versus website, like those small things will make the difference between you having the knowledge and the appearance of a complete QA engineer versus someone that's just kind of starting off and doesn't know what they're talking about. All right. An internship is, again, it's a separate portion of the project where you're allowed to kind of do mobile and web testing, just practice. It's a special project that's given to you guys, and you're able to just do your own testing kind of, on that project exclusively. All right. Now, for anybody that hasn't purchased it yet or is still worried or concerned or is confused, you have installment options. You have loan options still available to you. I can't give them to you what you need to do is get in touch with the admissions team. Remember the little image I showed you on the, where is it? All right, whatever, it's not there now. But the little image on the bottom right side of the word to contact the admissions team, get in touch with the admissions team on the website. Um, that's where you'll be able to kind of, ask any questions regarding payment plans and things of that nature. All right. They work over the weekend for the most part, but then they just have a lot of new people that are asking questions right now, so they may not be able to get back to you immediately. Just look up whatever their next available appointment time is, just set it up, and they'll usually try to get to you before that. All right. Now, as far as the course is concerned, again, talking about money, and obviously, the course fee itself is $2,297, right? That includes everything, including a free beginner's guide to software testing, right? But to put that into context, right, is how much does a year in college cost you on average in the United States? Let's say it's state of California, which is actually in-state tuition. Um, Perfect. Again, if any of you guys that are already part of the program, that have already purchased the boot camp, you are free to go for today. You have your homework assignments. You should keep checking your email. You're done for today. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Welcome. I'll be seeing you on Tuesday again. And for anybody that hasn't purchased the program yet, just kind of hang around. I want to kind of discuss this with you. Um, and if anybody has any questions, please stick around. This is only going to be another 5 minutes, and then I can get to the rest of to the class. Also, guys, you're going to get a survey, probably about the course itself, about me in the class. Please make sure you fill it out and give us good feedback. Anything you think that can be improved, please let me know. I'm sure I probably spoke very quickly a lot of the times in class. All right. So while everybody's going out, for those of you that are still haven't been able to actually get into the course, are still thinking about it, this is the context that you want to get put into. A year in college for in-state tuition, right, is about $10,000, right? As compared to a coding boot camp currently across America, or actually these boot camps are all across the country, the world, average of $14,000, $13,579. Again, these are all Googleable things. When you compare this to what we offer, with all the things that we offer as part of our program, right, it's a no-brainer. And on top of this, just to get everything together, the fact that there's a 2-week money back guarantee and there's a year-long money back guarantee. I'm sorry, there's a 2-week refund available, right? And there's a year-long fully money back guarantee for you, right? You're not losing any. I had a student who just got a job about 3 months ago. She bought this program on her credit card. All right. Terry, hold that thought. So she put this program on her credit card, and it didn't take her one paycheck. It took her 2 paychecks to pay it off. But the reason for that is she said she wanted to buy some stuff with her first paycheck. Right. The example that I like to use is let's round this down to 2,000 instead of 2,300, or let's go 2,500. Let's round this up to $2,500. Let's say you take that money and you put it into Bitcoin. Bitcoin yesterday was at 65,000. Let's say in the next year it goes 10 times, so it ends up at 650,000 in 1 year. Your 2,500 turns into 25,000, right? Yeah. So that's how much money you can make. But that is basically 2 months worth of your income. Wait, did I calculate that right? Yeah, I did. So you can make let's assume Bitcoin makes again 10 times what it's made right now. You put that money in there and you come back with 25,000. But if you get a job as a QA engineer, full-time job or a contract job or any kind of job, making $50 an hour, you'll be making 5 times that in a single year. So this isn't just some random dollar amount that you want to kind of just purchase something. This is an investment you're making in yourself. you're the Bitcoin in this case, and you can up your income times 3, times 10, times 50, depending on how much money you make right now, right? It's really up to you. That's really what it comes down to. Okay. Again, what I would recommend is if you are on the cusp of maybe I should do this, maybe I shouldn't, I would recommend just opening up the QR code, going to the site, and at least just getting in touch with the admissions team. Don't make any purchases right now. Don't worry about it. But lock in your price for 22.97 because this is gonna go up. I think Tuesday is when the price goes up again, and it doesn't. This you're not gonna have the same price available to you after today. So maybe even so. The only thing is, if you get in touch with the sales team, the admissions team, they will be able to know that you contacted them on the 13th of November, and they can lock in this rate. Otherwise, if you don't get in touch with them, or you say you come into the next 2 free sessions, you're like, oh my god, this is amazing, I want to do this. You're gonna end up paying more than at least $200 to $500 more than this. Okay, the amount of stuff that's included in this program itself is again it's worth a lot more, but at the same time it's priceless. Because again, the stuff that you're learning, the things that you're being taught are extremely important and useful and have real world application, right? You can make a whole career out of this. Nobody that ever does a QA job is just does one and then they're done. We're not preparing you to sneak your way into one job or whatever, and then after that it's open season. No, what we're doing is we are making sure that you are excuse me, that you have a career going forward, that you're prepared not only for one job but everything that job entails, and every subsequent job that you need to do in QA. Okay. Another thing is, if some of you are interested in automation, right? If you think that you don't want to do, if you want to make more money, number one, and number two, you don't think that the manual it might be too simple for you, or you just want to go straight shot, moonshot. We also have um, automation classes available, also for people that don't have much background, excuse me, in technology, in IT. Okay, so if you want to get in touch with the admissions team, you can use the same link. Just get in touch with the admissions team. Hey, let them know, hey, I'm looking for automation, if that's the case, and then they can definitely get in touch with you and let you know how much the course is going to be. And when it's a different course altogether. Again, here we're only doing manual testing, black box testing, like I mentioned today. But going forward, again, if you don't think this is for you and you want to do more technical stuff, more automation stuff, obviously make a lot more money, I would say go for it. That's a different course altogether, different price, different timings, different instructors. Everything's different. So get in touch with the sales team, and then they'll again, they'll let you know what to do. All right. This is the QR code, app.testpro.io. Again, I'll put that in the chat, /W. All right. That is what it is. Let me make sure that that's the right page. Again, if you guys want to check it out, on the bottom right, you will see here this little button. Engage that button, get in touch with the sales team. They admissions team to let you know what to do. Even right off the bat, for any of you that are thinking about payment plans, there are 3 payment options available to you. You can do a single payment, you can break it down into 2 payments, or you can break it down into 3 payments. All right, cool, Hamza, thank you. We'll see you on Tuesday. So that's kind of the idea, that you can do 1, 2, or 3 different payments. And if you want to do it further, you want to do a 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, there's other options available, but I can't give you those options, right? The admissions team has to do that. Malika, yes, you can. You can do an automation course without having to do this course. You just have to kind of, pick up a few things as you go, but it's definitely available to you. You just have to understand that that's, you have to kind of work a little bit harder. All right. Also, as part of this course, I'm pretty certain, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dennis, you do get a chance to do a free repeat as part of the purchase as well. So in case that you're not able to complete it, or there's something that goes wrong along the way, you're able to do a free repeat of the course as well. Okay. So look, 2 weeks to get a full refund if you don't like it. a year long to get your money back for the whole dang thing, and you can repeat the course for free. Not only that, all the videos for every single session that we have is available to you for basically at least a year out. I mean, honestly, I don't understand why anybody would not just jump at this, right? It's a life change, it's a game changer, and it's definitely worth it. All right. This is a certificate of completion that you get at the end of the course. One of the things, obviously, your name is going to be on here. That's one of the things that we get. Any questions you have, ask the team. Like I mentioned, click the little tag on the bottom of the page. They'll get in touch with you. And that's what we have all for today. I'm going to bring it back real quick to the QR page. Any questions you guys have, now is the time to ask. Feel free. I'm here. Dennis is here as well. Dennis is actually one of our founders. He can answer questions for you as well. But in any case, if any of you have any questions related, now, if you have questions about payment plans or money or how much blah blah blah, admissions team, they can give you specifics. I can only speak it in generalities, right? But I cannot give you exactly literally what the dollar amount is. They can. All right. Thank you, Vinny. Thank you very much. Have a great day. See you on Tuesday. Again, for anybody that's still around, that's still on the on the fence, we have the platinum package, like he's saying, like Dennis said, and the light version, which is different prices. Terry. So Terry mentions, Terry, if there's any issues about the package available to you, just again get in touch with the admissions team. Let them know what your concerns are. It might take them a couple of days, but they'll get back to you. The internship is, again, it's a separate project. It's actually outside of this 9 weeks. And Dennis, please correct me if I'm wrong here. It takes place once the course is done. You get a separate internship to do after the 9 weeks is done. All right. 4 weeks separately. This pricing is standard for now. It will change once if you were actually able to come in early bird special, that you were able to save a little bit more money. A couple of weeks ago, you were able to save a little bit more money still. Today and onwards, the price is going to continue to go higher, right? There's a difference between early bird and people coming in early versus buying the course after the fact. So there you go. I think this is the platinum package. Yes, this is the platinum package. If you purchase 2 different times with 2 different emails, so what's your question? Asim, I think you can always downgrade and you can always upgrade. Yeah, get in touch, please. Asim, please get in touch with us, the admissions team. We don't want to charge you for some double for anything, even though you use 2 different emails. If you paid 2 different times, please tell them what it is and they'll fix that for you. There's no reason why you should be having 2 different accounts unless you have 2 different people that you want to register. Yeah, so if you did 2 times, please let them know and they will cancel one and keep the other. All right. Asima, depends on what plan you purchased, Asima. If it's the full plan, then yes, you should be able to have the internship as well. But just depends on which one you purchased. Again, this is another question for the admissions team. You can always, please get in touch with them and make sure that that's what you paid for. They will let you know what you paid for. Again, you can always upgrade or downgrade, right? If you think you want to do the internship and it's additional money, they will let you know. And if it isn't, it's included in your cost, then they'll give that to you as well. They'll let you know what it is what. Medina, the answer to your question is absolutely yes. It is definitely possible. I personally have had over 24 students that have found jobs in all over the United States and in Canada. I had a student of mine get a job in Texas while he was overseas in Bangladesh. He completed the course while he was there visiting his parents. He prepared his resume there. He started applying for jobs from over there. And he was able to get a job. Sima, the telephone number again, like I said, this is right around the time that they're most busiest because we have a new class starting. So don't call them, leave them a message. Yeah, they will get back to you. They're not gonna get back to you like in 5 minutes or even a few hours. Like I said, right now is the busiest time for them because again, there's hundreds of people trying to get a call back. But trust that whatever your situation is, it's gonna get dealt with. If you need to get whatever needs to be sorted out, um, we will get you sorted out. Uh, Again, same thing for you, Sazim. You are going to be part of the course, number one. And number two, right now, the first class session of a new session, the first week or couple of weeks is the busiest time for them. Okay. So if they haven't gotten back to you, they 100% will. I personally guarantee that they will get back to you. Okay. And secondly, the refund will be processed once they speak to you and figure out what the situation is. Okay. Um, that is, I'm not concerned about that at all. Again, all of you guys that have any concerns about the fact that you haven't been able to get in touch with anybody, it's just the most, it's like Christmas time for the post office. Okay. They're going to be the busiest that they will be for the last 2 months or for the next 2 months, just in this space of time for this few days. Okay. So please bear with us. They'll definitely get in touch with you. And again, like I said, it is so there you go, Terry. I hope I answered your question, Terry, whatever you had. So Sazim, we'll see you on Tuesday. Any other questions, guys? I know Marie had a question. All right, cool, Terry. Yeah. So again, perfect. I appreciate you guys. Any questions that I can answer or Dennis can answer? It's now is the time. If not, we will be seeing you again on Tuesday. Tuesday is our next class session, 6 p.m. Pacific time. All right. Good luck to all. Again, your LMS. Remember, check your email. LMS is in there. Any questions and stuff that you have, money related or cost related or program related, please get in touch with the admissions team. Give them a couple of days. Again, if you have any concerns, you still have time to do, everything. We are going to start doing group meetings once everybody's kind of sorted out. Once the free part of the course is done, the first 3 sessions are free, so those people get weeded out. Once they're gone and we have our core, then we'll assign you into groups, and then you can start doing your group meetings. Are some homework assignments? Yes, some homework assignments will be team assignments, and then you'll have to work like a company and kind of divvy it out. And other assignments will be strictly individual assignments. All right. Perfect. Well, thank you guys very much. Once again, I really appreciate it. Today was a great course. It was a great lesson today. I enjoyed thoroughly having everybody in here. Again, if you're part of the free course, you still have 2 more free sessions available to you, but this price will be ending today, right? So this will be your last shot to be able to get this price. Price goes up moving forward. Again, if you get in touch with the admissions team today and they have your information on record that you got in touch with them today, then you lock in this price. So I would recommend, at least if you're even on the fence about this, just send them a message. Like everybody said, it's been taking them a day or two to get back to them. So at the very least, you'll have this price locked up. But if not, then be prepared to pay more, because the next class and the next class, it only gets better from here. And one of these class sessions is going to be a light bulb that turns up here that's going to make you fall in love with the whole QA thing, and you're going to really want to do it. All right. So don't miss out. Once again, thank you guys for your questions, attention, and everything else. I appreciate it. And I will be seeing you guys on Tuesday. Take care and have a wonderful weekend. All right. Bye, guys.